Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. We're live here from Mid-Ohio for round 6 of our championship as we close in on the Christmas break. That will mean we're at the halfway point of this season, and that comes in just 2 weeks' time. But tonight, it's Mid-Ohio and a pretty tight and difficult circuit for 30 drivers on the grid tonight to be going racing around here for just the second time in this series history. It's myself, Ewan, Jez Parfitt, along with you again for this round of the championship. Just a couple of moments left in qualifying before we get forward to an hour-long race once again. Looking forward to being back in the series again here, James, and a very different circuit indeed. Mid-Ohio is used for multi-class racing in the real world and has been for quite a few years, but it doesn't make it much easier to deal with the multi-class traffic. I think some drivers will be slightly pleased that there are only 30 drivers on the grid this time rather than some of the higher numbers that we've had earlier on in the season, but nevertheless it's still going to be a very difficult race for everybody.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think that's one of the things they're going to have to look out for. We've got 12 LMP2s and GTPs, and we've got 30 cars on the grid, and 18 of them are going to be GT3s. I wouldn't have looked at Mid-Ohio and gone, multi-class racing. That works on this 2.25 mile circuit that they're going round in GTPs in 1 minute 10. Why the GT3s are in 1 minute 20? You know, and it's not a circuit that I would associate with multi-class racing because it's a very tough circuit. That middle section from turn 4 all the way through to turn 13, the end of the race, in the end of the lap, is difficult. So how this is going to work with traffic, this could be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, as I mentioned at the start, we've seen IMSA around here in the past, and I'm not sure how regularly they go here anymore, actually, IMSA, but they certainly did for a long time previously. And so, as I say, there is multi-class racing to be had around here, but it's pretty rare. Oh, my goodness gracious! That's a humongous crash in the background for someone. Is that... it is Nathan Dowd, is it? No, it's Dominic Durnenberg, excuse me. Yeah, that's a humongous accident. Hopefully that's the last of those we see today. Just gets a bit wide in the grass, and have a look at this. Oh my goodness me. Oh dear. Well, that's not a great start for him, and he's qualified last as well, but he'll get a new car for the race, thankfully. That was absolutely massive.
Yeah, it definitely was. There's only one way we've got to look at it. But I think it's going to be... is that going to be a scene? Is that going to be a theme of this evening? You know, he loses it on the way in anyway, and then just bang, and then we just see sky, don't we? And more and more and more, and finally we come to rest with half a car. I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because of obviously the nature of Mid-Ohio. Is that going to be something we're going to have to look out for? Are the tyres going to start going? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't suspect that kind of crash is going to happen, that much, but...
we say that apprehensively, Mr. O'Leary.
Well, yeah. And we're in for quite an evening if it does. So we'll see about that. But that I think is going to be an outlier. Dominic Durnenberg has qualified fourth in this session by the looks of things, and we'll of course see the grid when we move forward into the race. But there will be that 5-minute gridding period in a few moments' time. The session's just taking a little while to progress forward at the moment, even though there's nobody out on the circuit. So we'll wait for that. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the championship standings. And after a second win in a row, and of course, third win of the season, Pat Pelchat extended his championship lead last week with now Adolfo Perez in second place, or still second, I should say, but now is 24 points behind. Nathan Dowd is third, and he's, as I say, just qualified on pole for this race. Dominic Durnenberg, who we've just seen, is now fourth, ahead of Billy Smith, Paul Darling, who is in sixth place. Ryan Rosleski, who is also here today, is up there as well. He is in seventh place at a Maximilian Muir. Has only been at one race and he won it back at Watkins Glen. Trevor Versky, Vance Bauer and Paul Gibson, the final drivers in the GTP field. In LMP2, we've currently got Robert Cast leading the way. He says he's forgiven us and miraculously me for doubting his pit strategy the other week. So that's good. We're back on a good footing there. 19 points is his gap to Carter Cunningham, who is second. Robert Tinsley's a bit of a gap back to him, to be honest. 46 points from the lead already, with Caden Richardson and Morrison running out the top 5. It's Andrew Parker and Brandon Walker, 6th and 7th. Leif Pitson and Kevin Binkley are tied for 8th. Running out the top 10 is Fuzzy Fazzello ahead of Christian Julian and Brian Corwin, who made his only appearance at Suzuka, of course. Let's have a look at the GTD standings, where it's been even more dominant than what Robert Cast has had in LMP2. Ross Booth has won every single race so far. Not picked up the maximum points every time, but he's done very well. He's 23 points ahead of Nicholas Davis, who's also got a very big amount of points, to be fair, considering he hasn't won a race yet. Young Park is a little bit of a ways back in 3rd place ahead of Ryan Robertson and Michael Ross. Bradley Haley rounds out the top 5 with Christopher Pies in 7th. Oh, top 6, I should say. Christopher Pies 7th ahead of Alex Simonik. Paul Schmudlak, Dominic Gioli and Patrick Fogel rounding out the 11 GTDs. And then the GTD AM field, which is a lot larger. Joshua Wolf now with the biggest lead he's had all season, 15 points ahead of Ed Eisenring and Parker Dime, with Miko D'Souza in 4th place. Morgan Smith rounding out the top 5. Austin Dilt's just outside, a few points ahead of Darryl Green. Chris Sherburn, Mark Kudowski and Shane Hunter round out the top 10. You can see the rest of them on your screen. There are a lot of them in GTD. And once again, it's our biggest field here tonight. 11 drivers on the grid there. I'll just tell you about the teams as well, since we got to show you. Composite Performance Carbon are currently leading the way. Robert Cast doing a lot of the heavy lifting there with his 4 wins in LMP2. They're 5.5 points ahead of Sector 5 Racing, with Nathan Dow, Bradley Haley and Joshua Wolf, who's the GTD AM leader, of course. 0.6 points further behind is Composite Performance Platinum. Then another 0.7 behind is Composite Performance Titanium. Then there's some bigger gaps, as there's a lot of races missing for some of the teams a bit further down. So that's where we stand currentry in the teams. Dominic Dernenberg, Robert Cast, Patrick Fogel and Michael Ross leading the way in those teams' standings. So that's where we currently are. Drivers just getting themselves onto the grid, and they've got another couple of minutes to do so as well. But a big chance here for everyone in GTP, first of all, to close in on Pat Pelchat, who's managed to win 2 races on the bounce now, but he won't be doing a 3rd. He's not here today, so a big chance for somebody to pick up the pieces here and gain some crucial points. And Nathan Dowd and Adolfo Perez, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, are right up there to do so, take those points away.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually got Robert in YouTube chat. That Robert Cast guy's pretty fast. Well, he ain't tonight. He's at home sat on the sofa with his feet up, isn't he? Let's be real, watching the TV. So, but this is the thing, isn't it, as well? And I think with some of the people that are missing, as we say, it's a good opportunity for some of them to get points. So we'll see who can take the bull by the horns. Now, there was an initial message from Carter earlier on. They're going to start the race on the back straight start-finish line, but don't think that's going to be viable with the full pace lap. I think that's going to kick in. Don't think there is space on that one, so they will have to start on the front stretch.
Well, normally when there's in any series I've seen around here, although I must admit I haven't watched loads of racing around here, you do start on the back straight, as it were. Sort of the green flag sort of gets waved around turn 3. Turn 3 being the kink in the back straight. It's not really a corner, but normally, when you're going round that very gentle right-hander, that is when you see the green flag, for the first time. But we will see what happens here. I'm not really sure the pace car really has anywhere to go and pull off here. So are we going to do a full formation lap and then 2 corners on top of that? I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I suspect that might be what happens, because normally in IMSA racing, certainly they always used to get the green flag on the way down towards turn 3, and in IndyCar racing as well, which used to go around here. Again, not sure if they still do, but they got the green flag on the way down towards turn 4. I guess the run from the final corners to the start-finish line is just too short to make up a proper start, and so you need something a little bit longer, like on the back straight. But it is very strange that we don't start in the same place that we finish.
we're going to have to go. I can't think for the life of me that there's anywhere the pace car is able to go out there. So basically, they're going to do a full lap, and then the pace car's going to go in, and then they're going into Sunset. Scrolling through the briefing, there is a picture of where they are likely to be going, and it is, as you say, just after that kink. So we get the GTPs and LMP2s up underway for an hour of racing. Got called out of town for work last minute. Won't be seeing me out there kicking more putt tonight. Confident words, Mr. Cass, but you never know what may have happened in the race, of course. You know.
Yes. Yeah, but we can safely assume he would have been up there probably, as we know.
Don't give him up anymore, otherwise we'll give him a big head.
I'm just trying to, make up for the fact that I really doubted him last round, and he turned out to win. So there you go. Just trying to get back on side, really.
I'm just glad it weren't me, to be honest with you. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, you definitely agreed, though.
Oh, I don't remember that. There's
So,
no evidence at all. Who says the video lasts forever? No, on the YouTube video. Surely not.
So there we go. I'm sure it'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. As I mentioned, just one more round to go now before Christmas at the end of this one. That is at Mugello in 2 weeks' time. So I very much hope you can join us for that when we get to the 16th of December. It'll be very cold then.
It will be cold. Christmas is a fun time for everybody, and everybody loves Christmas, don't they, Mr. O'Leary?
Yep, so I'm told.
Yeah? Yeah. Sorry, I've just literally thrown him under a bus tonight, because they literally turned around before we started and was like, I don't like Christmas.
I say it on about every broadcast after November the 10th, so...
He's like the Grinch, everybody. That's what he's got for Christmas. He's got a Grinch jumper that he wears. So here we go.
We will be going in a few moments' time. Of course, the pace car pulls out the way, and the drivers, as we've already said, very clearly instructed not to go on the green flag tonight. So let's hope everyone was listening, and they abide by the rules. They're doing the prototypes anyway. Now, normally it would be a bit of a shock to the system for the GTs, because normally they're going green flag, not at the front straight anyway. So it'll be very normal for them to see the green flag somewhere else and just start racing. Let's hope that they don't. They were going quite quickly out the final corner, but I think they've sorted themselves out. Oh, there's lots of positional changing going on back there, but I think it's just people running side by side as they normally would. So I think we're going to get away with it. It's going to be Nathan Dowd on the front ahead of Brian Wosleski, Adolfo Perez and Dominic Dernenberg. Carter Gundinger has taken pole in the LMP2s. Dominic Zioli has taken pole away from Ross Booth. That might well be a good race down there in GTD. And Ed Eisenring has taken the pole position in GTD. Let's see who's going to take the race win. It's going to be 59 minutes in the end. Oh, as Nathan Dowd just slows up, waits up, and the other three trying to anticipate the jump. Now they were just sleeping when he does finally go. Look at the gap he's already got on the way towards turn 4 here, Nathan Dowd, as the green flag waves for the first time. It's going to be a big lead for him. Ryan Wosleski gets ahead of Adolfo Perez, and then it's Dominic Dernenberg who is in 4th place. Carter Cunningham gets off to a decent start as well, in the lead of the LMP2s. Oh, and Dernenberg looks like he's disconnected already. What a disastrous first minute and a half for him.
Yeah, it looks like he has just gone puff, unfortunately, for Dominic Dernenberg. But you see, it's Nathan Dowd, the Sector 5 racing machine, against composite performance in the GTPs, as he is a little bit of outnumbered. Dominic Zioli took the start in the GTDs with Ross Booth, Nicholas Davis, Alex Simonek, Bradley Haley in behind him. Josh Wolf is still leading the AMs, of course, over Ed Eisering. That is a positional change as well, because obviously Ed was up the front end on that one, but Wolf got out in front. But at the moment, great start here for Nathan Dowd. I reckon probably within about 4 or 5 laps, if that, we're going to start seeing lap cards.
Oh, Dominic Dernenberg is back again, but he's just going over the line now, so don't know what's happened there, but he's back out on the circuit again, and he's at the back of all the GTs, I'm afraid, so that could be quite difficult for him. Already half a minute off of the back of the next car in the race. That's going to be a long road to recovery for him, I'm afraid. Yeah, the only positional change for a lead of a class is for Joshua Wolf, the championship leader in GTD AM. getting ahead of Ed Eisenring there on the start, but it's still very close between them. And by the way, unlike at the Red Bull Ring, where the GTD and GTD AMs were very separated, the top end of the GTD field have actually got in amongst the GTDs here, so they are all mixed in with one another. There you can see the overall standings on the left-hand side. Young Park and Christopher Pies are behind the two leaders in GTD AM, which could make things a bit difficult for them.
Yeah, it is. I think just wanted to see how Donenberg got through this traffic earlier on. This is obviously a first glimpse of it. Normally we wait until the leader comes through, but he's already heading through here, and looking at the way he's trying to go inside, outside through that middle bit. He's got to literally try and time it coming out of turn 13. Now he's got to try and get as many as he can. Now obviously in the qualifying session it was pull it in very, very tight for him to make it through. So yeah, I'm gonna be I don't know, this just looks really, really on edge for any of these cars making these passes.
It is going to be very difficult indeed. By the way, Caden Richardson also has only just gotten underway now. Nearly 3 laps down. And off. Dominic Turnenberg's off. Well, that was a bit weird. There was already side-by-side going on up ahead of him, and he's spun himself now round into the gravel. Don't really understand what was going on there at all. Through turn 3 it was all right. It's not a difficult corner. It's flat out in every car. But he just sees himself off the road there. I think that must be some sort of technical problem or something. As meanwhile, Brian Wasilewski's off the road, but so is one of the GTs as well, Sean Rees. He's no, it's just his livery. I thought he was missing his bonnet. He's going to go for a spin though up here at turn 5 over the crest of the hill, and there you go. That's what happened to him. But as that was happening, and there go the prototypes through, Turnenberg and Richardson. What about Ryan Wasilewski and Parker Dime as well? Oh, it's all been going on here. There's been a lot going on in these last couple of moments. Ryan Wasilewski in towards turn 2, over the crest and spins around. That's not particularly ideal for him. And for Parker Dime, he looks like he's gone round on his own as well. It is indeed on his own. That's really costly for the driver. Tied second in the chariot tip, good avoidance from everybody behind, but it's individual errors so far costing these drivers.
Yeah, it is, and at the moment it's Sheldon Rosenbaum has also been off and jumped back to pit lane. So Sheldon has gone back to, is he going to outside that, and then that's going to go in the wall? It is, ouch, it did.
It's the same way that Dominic Turnenberg found himself in the wall, but of course a bit less spectacular on this occasion, probably for the best, as that means Rosenbaum can continue, but it doesn't look like he's going to. He's pulled into pit lane and might well be a retirement here early on in this race. Costin Quint, by the way, hasn't taken the start at all here either, so it looks like he's going to finish right down towards the back, maybe even a DNS at the end of the day. Meanwhile, Wasilewski trying to get himself back ahead of these LMP2s all over again. It's going to be what he'll be spending the next few minutes doing, but it won't be too long until he's having to do it to some GTs. Look at how close Nathan Dowd's getting already to the back end of the field here. Parker Dime versus Sean Rees is going on for 26th overall, and that's the first pass that Nathan Dowd will have to make in the lead of this race.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and catch up, get him through, isn't he, and make it through cleanly. He's got to go through one and get him on the run down into turn number 2, the right hand of the keel. Of course he does, he pulls it in tight, and it's going to scoop round the outside. He kind of made it easier than what we thought it was likely to be, but it isn't going to be these next set of cars. They're fairly spread out down this bottom end, so he's got plenty more time to be able to make the gap. Is when he's going to get into the likes of where Dominic Turnenberg is at the moment in this mid-pack. That's the difficult area, and it looks like Dominic's struggling as well, so yeah, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. This is not a circuit I would have pictured this going on.
Well, yeah, it's a good challenge though for all these drivers. Oh dear, that was close. And see the difference in the way that they make their lap time here, the GTs and prototypes, as Turnenberg had to really slow for Alex Suenik there around the long right-hander, the penultimate corner. And he now goes through on the inside where the prototype has a bit more of an obvious advantage, and through turn 1 as well, of course. And now he's done it all the way through the GTs, so he's made it. On board with Dowd, he's, as he said earlier, going to have to do exactly the same thing here in the next few moments. Well, we've been looking away, by the way. Ed Eisenring and Joshua Wolf have both lost the lead here. They've lost first and second. Wolf's still second, but Ed Eisenring's way down the field now, and Dean Dilts is leading. Dean Dilts, that's from a different series entirely. Austin Dilts is leading the way, I should say. This is what happened. It was a big dive down the inside on Ed Eisenring, and Joshua Wolf had to go around the outside of them as well to avoid. Now, was that Austin Dilts who made contact with them? No, it was Parker. No, it wasn't Parker.
I'm trying. Hold on a minute. It's a Ford of some sort, isn't it?
It is. Is it Christopher Pies, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So, well, a bit of a clumsy move down the inside there, really, but it was always going to happen with them so close to one another. And Pies now has been overtaken by Austin Dilts again, so Dilts is going to get a bit of an advantage now over the rest of the field, but Ed Eisenring is going to be really furious about that, getting taken out by someone not in his class, of course.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be too best happy, and he's probably not going to be sending Pies a Christmas card. Well, let's just put it this way, but at the moment, Nathan Dowd could, if he gets this traffic management right the first time round, he could end up literally in about 10 minutes. I'll sit back going, he's going to win this race, because the nature of the circuit, how tight it is and how tight the traffic's going to be, you can see that Perez can't stay with him. It's not possible that we saw at the Red Bull Ring, like for instance where the two leaders were going through together. They can't do that here because of when they get here. This is the problem. When they get into this section now, right the way through from turn 4, 5, right the way through to 12 and 13, there's nowhere to go. So really, Dowd can win this on his first run through traffic.
Yeah, it is more difficult to follow through than what we saw, and we are going to have to see a bit more patience as well from all the drivers as we go on board here and see what it's like up in GTD. Dominic Tioli's still leading here ahead of Ross Booth. Oh, and he's off! Well, that was just up ahead.
Yeah, I think Bradley Haley's. I think he's now going to get lapped. But again, we talk about it on the GT3's washing out, and it did that. And it's a Mustang. It don't turn on rails. You know what I mean? It's not a train. It can't do it. So expected, possibly. Not an ideal way of handling it, though.
No, I mean, as I said earlier, that's one of the places where you really see the difference in speed and where they make the lap time, because the GTs are really suffering through that long corner. Got to try and make your way through, but you can be washed out on, as we just saw there in GT. Ryan Rosleski's making his way back to the overall podium, by the way, making some overall overtakes. Maurice Amst defending again. He's in third place ahead of Andrew Parker and Derek Cyphers as well, who is just on the back of these guys now too. It's good to see, battle for third place, but look at the patience they're going to have here as well in LMP2 on the GTDs, and now they'll be able to get through possibly out of the right-hander at turn 9 through Thunder Valley. They'll be on the outside right next to the wall here. Oh, the Mustang's trying to get back to the racing line, couldn't quite. Parker had to go very wide, Cyphers just backed off. Now he's going to be caught out with the Mustang going a lot slower through these final two corners, and he's going to lose 2 seconds in that one bit of traffic. This is going to be very difficult indeed for traffic, but I guess everyone was expecting that.
Yep, and it just goes to show Cypher, well, he was there at one point. He's now nearly 3 seconds back, just from 3 corners on the race circuit, being stuck behind 2 cars. Manager, I tell you what, whoever comes out on top here will be the person that's managed this traffic the most. They've not stuck them in silly positions. They've not stuck themselves in positions where they could end up getting taken out. That will categorise the winner of today in the LMP2s and in GTB. Because if you do something crazy like we saw happen with Nathan Dowd going around the final turn 12, 13 around the carousel, it could be game over. So, manage the traffic, win the race, I think.
I just want to mention, by the way, that Derek Cyphers is running his first ever race in the LMP2 today, which feels, well, not risky, but just feels like quite a brave thing to do, to be honest. He was talking a lot before the race about the tyres lasting the hour, but we'll see how he gets on towards the end and whether he's managed that or not. But currently running in at 5th place, which is a very good start indeed for him, even if he was slightly slowed by all that traffic. This is Christopher Pies on the back of Austin Dilts now, for well, not even a really position in class here. It's 2 GT3 cars, isn't it? Mustang versus Mustang. But Christopher Pies will have been put off making a move, especially into turn 2 slightly, after his contact with Ed Eisenring, and Austin Dilts would like to keep him there. There's a bit of a buffer to the rest of the GTD Am field.
Yeah, it's given Dilts a gap, isn't it? It's allowing him to overgo. He's got like 6 seconds, I think it is, to Wolf, who is in the background there. You can just see him at the top part of your screen. LMP2 is going to have to sit there and be patient, try and go around the outside, pick him off at the inside, possibly. Be careful, be careful, be careful, please be careful. But that is Pozzi Basillo in that LMP2, and around he goes and manages to make it through. Again, Andrew Parker and Mo Islam are side by side there, Mr. O'Leary.
Briefly, but Parker with the inside line was able to get through quite nicely there and up into 3rd place. So they're quite a long way off Robert Tinsey, but they are changing places out there, and that's Islam going very wide indeed through turn 1, and that will just give Tinsey, or Parker I should say, those few tenths of a second here in this race for the moment. Pies meanwhile gets past Austin Dilts. That's in towards turn number 1. And there's the flash of the lights. Not sure if what Dilts is trying to indicate with that there, but he's lost his buffer to the rest of them. There's only contact through the final corner as far as we can see there. Does Dilts rather let this happen? Well, he doesn't put up too much of a fight, to be honest. And so I'm not really sure what the flashing of the lights was about, really, but there you go. Christopher Pies is through, although he won't gain any points or really anything. For that, he brakes very late, just Dilts, and now we'll start to look over his shoulder, because Joshua Wolf, of course, is next driver in line. That's the 2nd place driver in GTD Am.
You know what's worse is losing time here. Wolf's coming at him, so whether or not he's... The flashing, he was either going to say thank you and now let's get on it, or there was a little bit of frustration, the fact that Pies come across and kind of washed out in front of him coming round turn 1, and maybe Dilts had to brake and not best impressed by it all. But at the moment, he's now in this get on with it kind of scenario here, son, because it doesn't matter what went on with Chris Pies, you've got Wolf and he's coming very quickly. So he needs to just forget about what's going on now, and you can see 8 tenths over lap 11 from Wolf, that Wolf's pulled forward on him. So he needs to get on his bike a little bit, basically. Whatever frustrations he had, whatever angst he had with what went on with Pies, he's now just got to let go and get on with it a little bit, just coming up to turn 4.
I don't think it's anything too major. I think they will get on with it now, but it's clear that Pies is a bit quicker than Austin Dilts at the moment, as you would expect, considering they are in different classes. It's just in behind them here, and that's Dominic Durnenberg trying to work his way through. It is indeed. And of course, just recovering from that, opening that disconnection, it looks things that lost him a lap effectively. Pozzi Basillo's got off somewhere around the circuit by the looks of things. Not sure where that's happened. It's at the final couple of corners by the looks of things. Running a little bit wide into the grass. Oh, trying to slow it down in time. And does run that little bit wide, but he avoids the wall at least. It is quite deceptive, those final couple of corners, just how much it tightens actually around the right-hander. It looks like sort of a constant radius, but it certainly isn't. When you enter there at turn 12, it's quite all right, but you do need to slow down quite a lot through the corner, and so if you're as out of shape as Basillo was there, you're going to be too deep into the corner, you'll be into the grass but he doesn't lose any place, of course. He is still in 7th place, which is where he was beforehand. Mark Kudrowski, in the meantime, went off the road. Again, have we seen anybody hit anybody else today other than Christopher Pies so far? I mean, everybody's having single car incidents so far.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Hold on, Ed Eisenring went off somewhere as well on this. I think this was on his own again. Is this the Porsche just can't get it stopped? Couldn't get it stopped in time for the final for turn number 12. Yeah, no, I think there's so many things that can go wrong, right? There is one of them. Okay, that bump on the exit there. You can't accelerate a car when it's light, and the problem with that is that I can't quite explain it, but when you go over the crest of a hill, your car gets very light, and that is why some of them are coming round with their back end, because they're kind of accelerating and it's just not settled enough to be able to accelerate properly. But it's very interesting makeup. This circuit is very difficult for these guys, very difficult in these cars to basically get right, and I can guarantee again what we're just about to witness is the same thing. Because
is that a replay of the replay?
Yeah, there's Kudrowski, I think literally it goes off track again. Around he goes, near enough in the same way. And that's purely because you're turning right with an unsettled car.
It's surprising me actually just how many drivers coming unstuck on their own here. I mean, as I said, I know it's a difficult circuit, but the amount of which it's happening here and the amount of practice that these drivers will have put in normally, and I mean, maybe the lack of experience in this series at this circuit beginning to tell, as I mentioned earlier on. Just the second time in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge history, this being the 14th season, of course, where we visited Mid-Ohio. You know, that's a pretty low attendance rate for a series running for so long. I mean, some circuits have been visited 14 times, for example, so it's certainly on the lower end of that, but everyone's finding it very difficult indeed. Third place is Dale Green at the moment, just in the Porsche ahead of Morgan Smith, Chris Sherburn. Then it's Ed Eisenring who's trying to catch these guys, but struggling to just at the moment. He really does need to get back onto this podium, probably does Eisenring, but that's going to be a long way until he's able to do that, as we have a look here at Adolfo Perez, who's currently in second place, trying to chase down Nathan Dowd. And he locks up and spins into turn 2.
Yeah, and he loses that place to Wasilewski. Unfortunately, Ryan Wasilewski has gone through. So Perez is in behind him. So Dominic Dornenberg still out of sorts here. They're coming towards the end of the lap, and he's just starting the lap. So, yeah, a bit of work to do for Dominic Dornenberg. Dominic Zioli has got Ross Booth, of course, who, well, we need to talk about him. Let's be honest about it. He's had a kind of barnstorming start to the season.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's won every of the first 5 races. The only driver now to have a 100% win record after Robert Cast failed to win at round 4. And so Ross Booth is the last one left in the series, having won every race so far. But he's coming under real threat here from Dominic Zioli. That record is coming under real threat from Dominic Zioli, who's not really been here so far this season. He's done one round, a couple of rounds, excuse me, but he's not finished in the top 5 yet. Now look at the performance he's putting in here as Lee Peterson comes into the pit lane with 38 minutes to go. I reckon around a circuit like this, that will be fine on fuel. Or is it unscheduled? Let's see.
Unscheduled.
If, okay. Oh dear. Spins around at turn 12. And maybe just decides that it's probably best to come in if he's going to spin. And so there you go, just about legally. Comes into pit lane. Probably a good idea, to be honest, considering he's spun around already. But he can make it to the end from here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he will. That's the bump. Look, you can see how difficult it is for them. It's a simple right-hand turn, and it is literally the same as coming out of Alton Park, the final corner at Alton Park, where literally you've got the bump on the way down into Dearling, and that is it. And it's so difficult. You want to get on the gas, you want to get going, but you just can't do it. And that is the same. That's the same makeup of it because of that bump. And I've done that at Alton Park so many times. Like, I've gone round on that last corner so many times, and that one corner is the same as that circuit.
Sherburn and Smith going side by side by the looks of things. It looks like Chris Sherburn has gotten through into 4th place ahead of Morgan Smith. They've cost themselves a lot of time in what was previously a battle for 3rd place. 2 seconds now away from that position as Andrew Parker continues on in 3rd. He's ahead of Morrison now, and they're working their way through traffic again here as well. That's nicely done round the outside there through turn 7, up the inside of 8 and 9 for Morrison, trying to follow them through, but patience, you've got to use it again in towards Thunder Valley, and Parker's going to be slowed up here, so the battle for 3rd place will be nose to tail, I imagine, through the final corner, unless Parker can get round the outside here, and he does just about while staying on the road, although he does go wide, and he will secure a nice gap now from that in 3rd place.
Yeah, Morrison's now just got to try and go through and try and close up when he can, you know, utilising what traffic they have got to see if they can do it again and see if he can close in. Ross Booth, Dominic Zioli still close together. This is one of the closest battles on the track. Morgan Smith is in pit lane. That looks like he's just gone in on his own. It doesn't look like there's any dramas that he's come under for them, as Adolfo Perez has just gone and cleared these guys as well. A lot of composite liveries out on the racetrack this evening as well, more than any other team, I believe.
That's normally the case, yeah. They are everywhere in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, that's for sure. And these two currently heading their class 1 and 2 in GTD. How is it going to play out over the course of the race, though, between Zioli and Booth? It could be an interesting finish between these two to see who's going to come out on top, but it would be Zioli's best finish of the season by some way. He'd do well not to have his best result of the season. I mean, he can't equal or indeed better his worst result. That was 8th place, of course, a few weeks ago. There's only 7 in the class this time around, so he'll do better than that. But will he win here? We've got a long way to go, and Ross Booth has been sticking right behind him pretty much the whole way so far.
34 minutes left on the clock. So, and the closest battle on the racetrack at this moment in time, and I can say that because everybody else is fairly spread out away from each other. There's the overalls on the left hand side. You can see this was the only gap that's down to below half a second. Everybody else is fairly spread. And let's see, you can just physically see how difficult that corner is for these guys, because the back end's already wanting to slide as they're coming off, as they're going under acceleration. I don't think that's going to be the last time we see it, especially if people don't take tyres. They don't take tyres. By the end of this race, that corner could become quite hairy.
Adolfo Perez is into pit lane, maybe to do that. 33 minutes remaining here, and he will drop outside the top 3 as a result. Probably Dominic Dernenberg should get through, depending, of course, how long the pit stop takes as we go on board with Zioli. They just changed lines on the way towards turn 2. A dive down the inside from one of the LMP2s, and will Booth try and follow through here? There is a gap left. No, he can't quite get through though. It's Steve Peterson who's out the pit lane, of course, after his stop. He's pretty close here, is Booth. Looks to the inside. Zioli's going to cut across him here through turn 3, and he's going to keep on the racing line. Actually, Zioli doesn't feel the need to defend, and Ross Booth stays behind. Diving down the inside, there goes Parker, who just pushes Zioli a bit wide. Now Booth will try and come through at turn 5, maybe. Oh, there was a bit of contact, very maybe. And Booth just backs off in towards turn 6. And Zioli hangs on for the moment as the race leader overall comes into pit lane.
Yeah, these two having having a right old go at each other, brought on by the fact that there was obviously faster cars coming through. He thought Zioli just end up offline, and he was so itching to try and go back across, but he weren't quite sure how far Booth was alongside him, and he just couldn't quite get it back over quick enough. He's managed to hold on. When he did come back over, there was that slight little bit of contact. So keep it clean, guys, I'm sure. Otherwise, this composite Booth could be a little bit dramatic after this race.
Let's see. You'd imagine they will keep things sensible here between the two of them, since they are teammates after all, but or indeed part of the same team. Definitely teammates as far as this series is concerned, but it is possible for them to be working together. Because of that, out of turn 2 they go. Ross Booth with another good run alongside Zioli in towards turn 4, but no. Again, he's having to back off here. Again, outside at turn 5. This is what he did last time. He went wide here and then dove down the inside of turn 6, but was, I think, slightly put off last lap by contacting maybe the Mustang. Well, there wasn't any contact this time round. However, he still didn't try and make the move.
No, but it's a shame because he is looking a little bit quicker through that section. Ain't that Porsche, sorry. But then again, is that really a surprise when you've got a practical house brick on wheels in front of you? You know, that's probably not made up for that section between turns 4 and all the way through to turn 13. So I would expect the Porsche to be a little bit more nimble and quick, but the Mustang, as we know, it's got power for days, and I expect it to probably stay ahead going through the fast parts here of turn 2 down to 4. But yeah, Booth looks like he's got to do it, but he's going to have to do it in that section between 4 and 13.
Looks like the best place to do it. I don't think we've ever seen, or not very commonly anyway, a Porsche able to out-drag a Mustang and make a move down towards turn 4 will be difficult as a result of that. But I think that this middle sector very much suits the Porsche and the way that it behaves, as we've seen many times now, and not helped by the fact that Zioli keeps running himself a bit wide at turn 4 there. I'm beginning to think it's just his line that he seems to be taking around there, but it doesn't really seem to be helping. I mean, it's the best way to do it for the Mustang, which doesn't really enjoy it round there. But either way, Booth making real strides through there. He's staying behind for now. I wonder whether he'll stand a better chance of jumping him in the pit stops to try and run away from him. That seems to have been his strategy a couple of times this season. We'll see if he can do that again here in this race at Mid-Ohio as we cross the halfway mark, by the way. Less than half an hour to go.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think Booth might be looking to try and do something in the pit lane because he just cannot get through. And I think that natural line for that Mustang through 4, 5 and 6 is the one that's stopping Booth going anywhere. And I think as long as Zioli keeps doing that, in repeating that move, I don't think Booth's going to be able to get through. So now he's got to make a choice. Do I actually even bother trying to get through as we're heading down again from turn 3 down into turn number 4? Again, he's not going to get there. Or does he sit there and try and utilise the fuel stops? Personally, I'd probably utilise the fuel stops at this moment in time.
Yeah, Austin Dilts comes in from the lead of GT Liam, by the way, so we can't be too far away from stops here, as Andrew Parker has got off at turn 9, and that battle he was having with Morissam's going to be settled pretty decisively there. He runs a bit wide. Oh, he might have grabbed the wall here as well. He has. Ouch. That's going to be costly for Andrew Parker, who was fighting with Morissam for that 3rd place. And that's going to be, well, he's not going to be on the winning side of that one, put it that way. Zioli, meanwhile, gets past one of the slower GTDs, and Booth tries to follow through.
Dornberg's
but
off.
Look at the gap, nearly a whole second here.
Yeah, Dornberg's just gone off in turn 12.
That's Parker recovering, of course. And then Durnenberg through into the carousel, turn 12. And just runs very wide indeed. And he just about avoids the wall, but he does run very wide. And cuts his losses by coming in the... Oh no, he didn't come in the pit lane quite, but Andrew Parker did. And is not quite in 3rd place, but certainly knows that he will be when Derek Cyphers comes into pit lane.
Yeah, we've got a mix here. You can see on the left-hand side, GT GTP, LMP2, GTP, LMP2, LMP2, GTP, GTP. That's for position. That isn't a class mix. That is position on the racetrack at this moment in time. So that's where we're at. So it's just showing how difficult this circuit is, and with pit stops thrown in, the GTPs aren't getting away from the LMP2s. They're ended up in the mix with them. So who knows what kind of calamity this could bring in this last 25 minutes.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting indeed. This will be the closest leading battle, I suspect, but you do never know. Ed Eisenring's just on the back of Chris Sherburn, by the way. This is back here for second place in class at the moment, but it won't be later on. Eisenring looking to just recover those points, of course, with Joshua Wolf ahead of him. He's just looking to limit the damage here tonight now is Ed Eisenring. Parker Dime, by the way, is behind as well here, so it looks like Joshua Wolf's going to have a decent day in the championship. Even if he doesn't get past Austin Dilts for the win, he's still going to extend his championship lead now to nearly 20 points, which is pretty big considering how close the GTD AM season's been so far.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Eisenring's just got to make sure now that, as you say, it minimise the points difference, isn't it? We know anything can happen. We've seen anything can happen. So for Eisenring, he's just hoping that anything does happen, because I think for him, that's his only way of getting hold of Wolf now. He's like 16 seconds, I believe it is, give or take at the moment. Oh no, 11 seconds, sorry, back from Wolf. So all to play for Eisenring, but he's got to recommend he's got to try and clear Sherborne as soon as possible.
I think so. I mean, I'm not sure he's going to be able to get any more after this, but he could try, I suppose, and by doing that, he would need to get through quickly. Down in towards turn 4, he has a look, but he might run into the same problem that Ross Boo has been running into, is that he's not fast enough to on the straight to have a go in turn 4. He's having to do it in the middle sector, and those moves are a lot more difficult. And of course, if there's prototypes behind you, as if there was last time, then it's even more difficult and pretty much impossible. And look at the track map at the moment. There's plenty of prototypes behind them here. Oh, and one of them's gone for a spin. Oh dear, that was Derek Cyphers. So whoever's in third place, seemingly spinning around at turn 9, is the done thing here, because Parker did it not so long ago, and now Derek Cyphers has done it as well.
Yeah, but you see, it's now affected. Eisenring is now 1.1 back from Sherborne. So I told you, if they don't take tyres, that turn 9 is going to provide more of that. We're going to see a lot more of that towards the end of this race.
Yes, we certainly are. I mean, we've already been seeing quite a lot as we go down in towards turn 2 there, on board with Dominic Zioli, who is leading by nearly a second now. Ed Ross Booth, that's the biggest it's been for a while here, this lead. This is turn 11, then 12. Someone's going round or outside here. Was that? Oh no.
Goes off again.
Yeah, I just saw him go off. I thought, is that Donenberg who was alongside us and went off? But it wasn't, clearly, because the driver who went past us there was still on the road. This is Morgan Smith in towards turn 4. I haven't seen that he's been off the road. That's, oh dear, that's the furthest anyone's been off the road all day. And he's found the wall down there as well. That looked like some sort of technical failure or just a catastrophic missing of the braking point. Dominic Donenberg may well have done the same. Adolfo Perez locked up the rears before turn 2. He's locked up the fronts there and it's gone straight on.
Yeah, around he goes again. So even Dominic Donenberg's struggling on this circuit at the moment, but Ed Eisenring is now back in contact with Sherborne, and again, for me, Sherborne's holding him up. I probably would have dived in pit lane at this point to try absolutely anything, because something's got to be better than banging your head against the wall doing the same thing lap after lap after lap. And at the moment, that's exactly what Eisenring's doing here with Sherborne. He's not really making an inroad in him, so probably try and jump him.
Turn 9 is really set again. Oh, as Ed Eisenring goes very wide there. It's going to be a long time till that battle rears its head again, because he's just been in the grass slightly, as Ed Eisenring. At turn 9 again, Ryan Wasilewski's spun off this time round, but he's coming to pit lane now, so might even have an LMP2 leading overall here in a second, and we do. Carter Cunningham goes past him. Not because of this, it would have happened anyway, because he's made a pit stop, Rosleski, but
we didn't even get
he
there.
Barely gets into the grass there.
Yeah, and we didn't even get into the corner, the main body of the corner, and it caused a problem there. But Carter Cunningham, currently, LMP2, leading overall.
Yeah. A remarkable performance, really, from Carter Cunningham. And just says a lot about this circuit, really, just how difficult it is, and just the lack of a difference, really, between GTP and LMP2 speed. They're so similar these days, these two cars, especially on the smaller circuits, that LMP2 can put in a performance like this, even if it is because of pit stops for all four of the, or certainly the top three of the GTP field.
I don't think... Oh, that scares me. I'm just looking at it. I don't think we can take that away. Yes, they pitted, but in hindsight, the GTB should have been a lot further up the road. They shouldn't have been in this position, but all of them have had their problems. All of them have. Dowd's been off. Perez has been off. Washilewski's been off. Dornberg, well, we've seen how many times he's been off. So it's just representative of the drive that Cunningham's having, because at the moment, he's having the best one out of all of them, because he's keeping it on the race circuit. Sorry, he started sliding and I was making that point then. I did get a little bit scared. But he's keeping it on the race circuit, as I said at the beginning, the top of the show. Keep it on the racetrack, manage the traffic, you're going to win the race. And that is exactly what it looks like Carter Cunningham's going to do.
Well, I'm not willing to speak too soon. Still more than 20 minutes to go. Fozzie Fazzello, meanwhile, has been just in behind one of the Porsches here, having a look at the inside of turn 9. Never the smartest thing to be doing, really. And that was Young Park, by the way, on the outside line. Didn't really do anything wrong at all there. Leif Pitchson also been working his way through some GT traffic and getting it wrong in towards turn 6 this time. And that might be why he has come back down to pit lane and retired from this race, along with Morgan Smith, Mark Kudrowski, Caden Richardson, Sheldon Rosenbaum and Carson Quinn, all who have either not started or not finished this race. So that's a fifth, 20% of the field down already in this one, because it is such a difficult circuit. And even so, it still feels very busy out there on the circuit, even though realistically it's a quiet field compared to most this season. Still feels very busy.
There ain't many places they're going to be able to get a lap in without overtaking a GT3, or a GTD, I should say. That's the thing. For the likes of Carter Cunningham, he's going to go lap after lap now, and it's going to be a GTD in front of him. Tinsley's in the pit, Cypher's in pit lane, Park's made the move in the GTDs, one of the very few that have pitted. Obviously, Josh Wolf has also been in. He's now behind Eisenring, but Eisenring's not pitted at the moment, so that's why that swap. But, you know, I think this is going to be one of these tracks where within about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, we might have a better idea of where everybody's going to be, because we've still got pit stops to come for the GTDs.
Yeah, pretty much all done in prototypes now that Carter Cunningham's in. And that will beat him out, you imagine, in the lead, unless Morrison's been making some real progress away from Cunningham here. Well, he's pitted earlier. I mean, he's nearly a lap behind, isn't he? So I'd be surprised, but you know, stranger things have happened. I'm somewhat surprised he's in second, actually, ahead of Robert Tinsley here. Not sure what happens to Tinsley quite, but anyway, we know Cyphers went for a spin. We know Parker went for a spin and even hit the wall a little bit. That's why he's so far back now compared to the podium places where he was before. But Carter Cunningham is already on his way back out again, and that is going to leave no chance for Morrison to get anywhere near him here, as he's only just coming up to Thunder Valley while Cunningham is making his way towards turn 2. So it's a big lead for Carter Cunningham, who looks like he's making use of Robert Cast's absence here and maybe taking his second win of the season.
Yeah, he's looking like why he's on the cards. Now, I can give you a rough rundown why he's so far ahead of Tinsley, Mo Islam. Might have something to do with the 10-second fuel stop difference. Islam 14.5, but Tinsley 25.08. So, you know, that's going to cause you a problem. So that's probably why Islam is so far ahead of Tinsley at this moment in time. Probably that 10-second pit stop difference. I'm hoping that's not 10 seconds of fuel, and it might be tyre changing.
I mean, that was going to be my next question, really. What on earth was taking so long? I don't really know that.
As I said, I don't. He's either something severely gone wrong with the fuel input and he's putting loads, or he's probably one of the very few drivers that may have added tyres. Because I can't remember if it is fuel then tyres or if they do them at. Wow, Mo Islam. That is not a way to get past Chris Payes.
Christian Payes off the road now as a result of that. Joshua Wolf, I thought I saw someone in GCDM dropping down. Now, into turn 12, and he does go for a spin. The championship leader in GTDM going for a spin and overtaken by Austin Dilts. So actually, his 1.5 seconds shorter pit stop there, Joshua Wolf, got him ahead of Dilts, but that spin has cost him the lead. And so, all of a sudden, what would be the net race lead, I should say, Austin Dilts is looking comfortable again for the Mustang as we go back to the battle for second place in LMP2 and see what happened here to Christopher Payes. I mean, this is Moise. I'm trying to work his way through on him here.
Yeah, it's more of a punt to pass, isn't it? I don't know. That's a very. I think somebody might be in trouble after this as well for Mo Islam. But Tinsey now is going to necessarily. Yeah. If Tinsey is on fresher tyres, that could explain how he's just pulled in that gap so quickly.
Well, that's wide as well. Meanwhile, Zioli's into pit lane because Ross Booth has already been in. He's gone for a bit of an undercut here as Ross Booth. I said that he would have needed to. Didn't want to leave too much gap between the two pit stops because then things can really go wrong very quickly. So he decided to just leave it at one lap. Zioli on the pit exit already. It's a long way to the end here because the GTs will be right down towards the end of pit lane. So where is Booth going to be in relation? His pit stop was half a second longer. And is he going to be right on the back of him? He's certainly not going to be ahead of him. Dominic Zioli, he's going to retain the lead here ahead of Ross Booth, who now has got 15 minutes to regain this lead and keep his 100% record for the season ongoing.
Yeah, but he's got 1.5 seconds to make up here. Eisenring's in pit lane. This is another one we want to have a look at because where is Joshua Wolf? Wolf's off again at 9.
Oh, he's got big damage as well. Big damage. So he's been hit here by one of the LMP2s, has he? Looking down. Yes, he has. Looking down the inside there was Andrew Parker. Wolf has grabbed the wall and he's got some very big damage now as well. This is a big moment as far as the GTDM Championship's concerned. Parker Diamond, Ed Eisenring both with a great chance now to gain some points.
Absolutely. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Because Josh Wolf is out of Sector 5 racing. Andrew Parker is that Composite Performance Titanium. Ross Booth, Composite Performance Titanium. Some could say conspiracy could be on the rise, but I don't know. It looked like an incident. The LMP2 just carried far too much speed.
Yes, yeah. I'm not willing to subscribe to that one yet.
No, none of us will be. But I can tell you what, though, Tinsey has just cleared Islam and it's leaving Islam for dead. So I am probably guessing Tinsey's pit stop might be that. Sean Rees has had a big moment as well.
This is towards turn 4, and he's okay. He's just gone for a big spin down here at turn 4. Yep, and not his first, unfortunately, today. He pulls off the road just to stay out of the way before he reverses and gets back pointing the right way again. So just taking his time with that one, as he should be doing, really. This is Chris Sherburn, who's leading in GTD for now, but he won't be for very much longer. He does need to come into pit lane. Austin Dilts will be leading as a result of that. Then it might be Ed Eisenring and Dale Green, but we'll see whether Sherburn can work his way onto the podium or not by running long. And he has run really long here, nearly 48 minutes into this race.
Yeah, surprising he's able to go that far, to be blatantly honest, because nobody else is able to go that far. And they're on 67% fuel for this, so Sherburn well, he's either done a stellar job on fuel saving, or he's just, I don't know, somehow gone long. Coming in this time? No.
Okay. Do the fuel limits apply to him like they do to everyone else? I mean, he's still going.
I think maybe he's just got different size or something. They swapped the tank out. He's got more fuel on that one. The cars are fairly spread out as well at this moment in time. But you know what I was talking about with the composite performance titanium and Parker being on the same team as Booth? This is all the things that people's minds can sort of bake up when they're driving. You know, Josh Wolf may know that he just was, you know, not as fast as the LMP2 in behind him, but he will come up with that. These are all the things, because he's like, oh, he's your teammate, and that's it. When really it was just the fact that the LMP2 was quicker and pushes him round. But Wolf, it could be a number of things.
Yeah, I don't know what he's like personally, so I don't know whether he will necessarily be going down that road, but it's certainly possible. It's certainly one that some drivers elect to take.
Oh, I've seen explosions in Discords of people. He's on your team, that's why you've hit me off. And, mate, these drivers, they go crazy when it's an opposite team, as Sherborne does go finally into pit road at the moment. That should bring Dilts into lead on the GTDMs. Drivers go crazy, and they do, literally, when it's things like this, because that will be how Wolf will look at it. He will go, he's on your team, you know, and that's it. And he'll want a penalty. He will scream a penalty, because these drivers, mate, at times, they go nuts. It literally is that thing, and it can mean that much to people that they will keep going and going and going. And let me know in YouTube chat if I'm right or wrong about this, but I have seen some mass explosions in Discord between opposite team drivers.
Yeah, I think that much is certainly true, but whether Josh Wolf is going to be doing the same, I'm less convinced. Because I say I don't really know him, so we'll see about that. Dilts is leading again now, by the way, as Chris Sherburn has come in just ahead of Ed Eisenring now in what will be a battle for second place. So if Eisenring can hang on to this second place, it'll be a very good day indeed for him, or indeed get that second place, I should say. He's currently third. Behind Chris Sherburn. That may be our next prospect for a battle, to be honest, but in the final 10 minutes things have spread out quite a bit. The difficulty of this circuit and so on has certainly taken its toll on this field, which now only has 22 drivers still out on the circuit.
Yeah, Wolf and Page are in pit lane. Peterson, Smith, Kudrowski, Richardson and Rosenberg are out. Quint never took to the start, but I think a lot of this has got to do with the traffic, the management situation. We've seen, you know, just as you mentioned, oh, they're all single car spins tonight, we then started getting contact. So I'm blaming, I'm still blaming you on that one. But yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's been a little bit of everything. It's single driver incidents. There has been a little bit of contact as well, but yeah, I think it's just the makeup of the circuit that's caused the highest, I believe, of the amount of retirements we've had all season, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty sure that is true. It could be wrong. I think still personally, the car-on-car incidents do make up a small percentage of the overall ones because of how difficult this circuit is. But yeah, there we go. There has been a couple more in this middle of the race, rather like Suzuka, really, where it was very clean for the first half, less so for the second, as we're seeing here. This is Fosdi Fazillo into the carousel again, solo driver on his own, just about avoided the grass, I think, but maybe he just clipped it. Anyway, it looked like he was going around it either way. Young Parker's not had his best day today. Up over the curb at turn 11, bit wide for 12. He'll do well to slow that down.
It's not, no.
And doesn't. He goes a bit wide. Oh, jumps. Right. I was about to say, probably shouldn't have rejoined like that right in front of the LMP2, but actually he was avoiding a prototype, another prototype that was sat there on the outside of the corner.
Yeah, which was Fazillo, the one we watched just before that. Fazillo was still sat there. So, yeah, I don't think he had anywhere to go, to be blatantly honest with him. Isering and Sherborne now, again, back together on the racetrack after Sherborne's pit stop. It's down to Isering to make the move, but I don't know if that Porsche's got the pace to keep up with the McLaren going down here. And clearly, as you can see at the moment, that draft is not really making an effect, and that gap's not really coming down as they go down into turn 4. So I don't think it's going to be in the middle section, but then that's going to be very difficult because the McLaren's just got to place it in the right place, and then it's game over for the Porsche. You can't get through anyway.
Yeah, well, it's always going to be difficult from that far back. He's got to get a bit closer here, but as we've seen tonight, you've got to take laps to work these moves over and make your way through. So, given there's only 6.5 minutes to go, he's really got to start working on this one very, very soon indeed. Nathan Dowd's not long gone over the line there, by the way, and so it could well still be 6 laps here to go as we go on board with Dominic Turnenberg. He is still, or he's just been lapped, I should say, as Turnenberg. He's just gotten through on Derek Cyphers there for an overall position, but that won't matter too much. There goes Dowd through the bottom of your shot, as I say, with 6 laps to go, including the one he has just begun. It's been a good drive from him, taking advantage of the fact that Pat Pochat's not here very much so, and taking what looks like it's going to be his first win of the season.
Yeah, you got to grab the bull by the horns, and if the door opens up, you can't not grab the opportunity, and Dowd's done just that. To be honest with you, Carter's done the same in the LMP2s. Dominic Zioli just looks like he's had a great race out of all the races he's been here all season, and Austin Dills is another one who looks like he's just had a good race. So some people liking this race circuit, and some people definitely not liking this race circuit.
And I reckon for the first time this season, although I'll need to fact check this, I think this is the first time that the championship leader, either at the time or after the race, has not won the class in any of the classes. So I think overall on points, Carter Cunningham would become the new leader, but that's mainly because Robert Cast isn't here, and indeed he would by a few points. But of course there are drop weeks still to work out in the second half of this season, so we'll leave that to later. But none of the championship leaders coming in here have taken a victory by the looks of things, if things stay as they are. And I think the one that's especially impressive here is the one for Dominic Zioli in the GTD field. Ross Booth still on song here today by the looks of things, still driving pretty well, and he's going to be beaten here fair and square by more than 2 seconds by Dominic Zioli, who's not had a top 5 yet this season. I think that's the most impressive driver of the day today.
It's 8th and 7th were his previous positions. And you are right about your previous statement, because obviously the likes of Ross Booth has won every single round. Pat Pelshat is another one that obviously was leading the championship and has won as well. So you are right about the championship leaders not winning their class overall for the first round. Isering still in behind Sherborne here. Simonek has just got onto the back of Davis, so that's another little battle that might materialise. Nathan Dowd is he's in the mix somewhere. There he is. Just literally picked him up as he's gone through turn 3 and 4, so he hasn't got long left here as well, and we've got 3 minutes 40 on the clock.
Yes. We'll see how much that means. I reckon that means 3 laps to go at the end of this one for Nathan Dowd, who's very much bringing this one home now. Simonek versus Davis for 3rd place, and Sherburn and Ed Eisenring both going on in GT, and there has been more battling in GT today. I don't know whether that says anything about this circuit or whether it's just a coincidence, but there's certainly been more battles in GT today. Not too much going on in LMP2. The battles have been settled by incidents, really, and I'm not counting the one between Dominic Turnenberg and Derek Cyphers at the moment. By the way, they are close, but they're not really fighting for position at all, and in fact here they come through this battle in GT. But yeah, there has been more battles down here, which is interesting, although as I say, it might just be a coincidence.
I think, it's probably not as coincidental as you think, because of how difficult it is to stay with the car in front during traffic. So in hindsight, this isn't, now we know how multi-class would go here if there's another one that we do at Mid-Ohio, it's probably not going to be a shock that these guys are quite as spread out as they are, because the traffic played a massive part in this. You can't stay with the person in front of him. You can't dive the person in front. You can't get through two cars at the same time. So that played a massive part, and this is why we're in this position where there's only GTD battles left, because they haven't got to worry. Once the cars have gone past the GTPs and the LMP2s, they can get over there racing for a good 4 or 5 laps. So I'm not shocked by it, because we said it was going to be difficult, but I don't think any of us predicted it would be this difficult.
Also, I think the GTs suit Mid-Ohio a bit better, actually, than the prototypes do. I think the prototype drivers have really struggled to get a grip on this circuit, and I can't really blame them. I think the GTs go a lot better around here anyway, so maybe that's part of it as well. It's an interesting addition, and for only the second time, indeed, the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge visiting this circuit. As we were watching this, by the way, Dominic Dernenberg, you may have noticed at home, completely disappeared, it seemed. That's what happened. Oh dear, oh dear. I said that crashing qualify might be the most spectacular of the day. Not quite, actually, as it turns out, because he's gone and done it in the race as well on the opposite side of the circuit.
Yeah, he snapped again, didn't he? Yeah. He gets light. There's a bump there. He got light on that bump, and around he went, and just over we go.
I think the one in qualifying was more spectacular, actually, but even so, he probably wasn't expecting to flip over twice today, that's for sure, in qualifying in the race. As Nathan Dowd now comes out the final corner for the penultimate time. Starts lap number 49, by the way. You really racked through them here in this race, but more importantly, the very final lap of this race as he tries to bring this one home for his first win of the season.
Yeah, he's just got to get it to the end. Just do this lap. You've got 16 seconds. It don't matter if you just crawl through any piece of traffic that he's going to hit. He's going to hit at least 3 cars which are up the road in front of us here. He's just got to, just get through. Difficult part, get through the cars if you're going to catch them and get round turn 9. That's going to be the difficult one.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's been on the podium at every race so far this season that he's been to. Wasn't at the opening round, but he's got 4 podiums to his name already this season. He's making his 22nd start now in the he's in the 20s anyway. He's around there, but he's never won here before in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, taking advantage of Pat Pelchat, who's certainly been dominant so far this season, and the fact he's not been here today. Nathan Dowd is going to take a dominant win here at Mid-Ohio. Through the final corner he goes, and he's a race winner in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge for the very first time. Nathan Dowd brings himself to the pit wall and celebrates a victory in the Cadillac here at Mid-Ohio. A fantastic, well-deserved victory it is as well. Further behind, by the way, Dominic Zioli is going to win in GTD. What a fantastic drive from he of the Mustang there for Composite. Fantastic drive ahead of Ross Booth, who doesn't win for the first time this season. A remarkable run of races comes to a close for him. Austin Dilts to be over the line in a few moments' time, but before him, Carter Kundinger also taking advantage of an absent championship leader. Robert Cast on the sidelines to watch his main championship rival take a win, and in terms of total points, Bolt ahead of him in the championship as well. Kundinger comfortable in victory in the end by 23 seconds.
Yeah, great job. Great job. Managed it, did what he had to do, and did a great job there as well. Austin Dilts is going to come through, take the GTD AM victory. And again, anybody that's won their class tonight, you've just got to give them a big pat on the back, because they've managed traffic, kept it on track, and reaped the rewards. And that's all we said at the top of the show is they had to do.
It was a bit about survival here tonight, as maybe expected. But, you know, same could be said for a lot of the circuits. And to be fair, we were saying the same before Suzuka, and it didn't really turn out like that. So you just got to play the race situation and how it turns out. And certainly there were a few drivers who managed that today. Nathan Dow being one of them. 16 seconds is winning margin over Adolfo Perez, by the way, at the end here. Perez moved very close now to Pat Pelchat in the championship. Ryan Wasilewski joins them on the podium. Carter Kundinger wins in LMP2 ahead of Robert Tinsley in 5th overall. It's Moisam who's the last step of the podium in LMP2 ahead of Derek Cyphers, Andrew Parker and Fuzzy Fazillo. Dominic Turnerberg finishes top 10 overall in the end, 4th in class. Dominic Scioli with a fantastic drive to beat Ross Booth in a straight fight there in GTD. Nicholas Davis joins them on the podium ahead of Alex Simonik, Bradley Haley and Young Park. It's Austin Dilts who wins in GTD AM here tonight ahead of Chris Sherburn, who did hang on to Ed Eisenring, who closes in on Joshua Wolf, who was one of the later retirements in this race. Dale Green and Parker Dime round out the top 5 with Sean Rees in 6th place in class. Christopher Pies and Joshua Wolf both had fairly long stops, but I do believe they crossed the line at the end there. Certainly not crossing the line at the end was Leif Peterson, Morgan Smith, Mark Kudrowski, Caden Richardson, Sheldon Rosenbaum and Carson Quint, who didn't even take to the start. Let's have a chat to Nathan Dowd, who wins for the first time this season in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. And welcome in, Nathan. Congratulations on the win. Just how much of this race from a driver's perspective was about survival? Because we saw plenty of incidents from here up in the commentary box. How much did you see down on the circuit and how much, as I say, about survival was it?
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was, to be honest. This is a pretty tight little track, so once I got a little gap there early, it was pretty much just survive and conserve as best I can, just give everyone plenty of room, and I feel like I got a pretty clean race, so that worked out.
You certainly did get a very clean race as well. And of course, as far as our records go, anyway, you can correct me if I'm wrong. First Autobahn Sports Car Challenge win for yourself. Just how is it now to have clinched that? And how was it in the final few laps as well, knowing that you were so close to achieving that?
Wow, it's awesome. Yeah, it's my second year running in this league with these guys. And it's a lot of stiff competition. I know we had a little bit of a thin field today, but yeah, a win's a win. I know I've had a bunch of seconds here, so yeah, thankfully Mr. Muir didn't show up and worked out in my favor.
Probably for the best that it was a slightly smaller field, to be honest, given this circuit, to be fair. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just the Autobahn League guys running the league do a great job, and Sector 5 guys. It's always fun hanging out with them during the races and outside of the races, so they helped me out quite a bit. And you guys for doing great broadcasts, and yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks very much for coming to chat to us. Congratulations on the win, and as I say, thanks very much for coming to chat to us.
Yep, see you guys.
Thanks very much. Nathan Dowd there, the winner overall tonight and in GTP, of course. Carter Cunninger is no stranger to the top step, though. He joins us now as well. Welcome in, Carter. Good to have you with us as well. We were just saying to Nathan, very much a case of survival. I'd imagine it was a bit for yourself as well to take advantage of Robert Cass not being here tonight, of course. But how do you think the race went for yourself overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think it went super well, obviously. This is a combo. This is one of those weird combos that for some reason I'm really, really good at. So this is definitely one that's been circled on my calendar, and I've been looking forward to it. And yeah, really just tonight was honestly a little bit of tire preservation, but also just, keeping it, making some clean moves around traffic, and that's pretty much what did it tonight.
And the pretty rare occasion of you leading overall as well. Well, not because it's you, because you're in LMP2, I should say. That was pretty strange, but there you go. These things can happen around here. Just how difficult was it to work your way through traffic here? We saw some incidents. I think it's fair to say you were not involved in any of them, but just how close were you, and how difficult was it in traffic?
Yeah, I mean, as I said in the pre-race briefing to the guys, this is one of those tracks where there are definitely some spots where it is better just to sit behind the GT3 car for 3-4 seconds, whatever, and just kind of wait and be patient. And I think it definitely showed tonight. There was a couple instances that I saw around me where it was just people kind of going for a move where, the racing line's changing, from left side of the track to the right side of the track, and within a split second, and that's just where incidents are going to happen. So it was definitely difficult, but, it's really just kind of understanding, what the GT3 has the ability to do, I think really makes a difference at a track like this.
Yeah, certainly. There was some big differences in some of the corners, that's for sure. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, no, just first shout out to the guys at Composite Performance. I appreciate every single one of them. We practice all the time for these. our sponsors, Grid, SimLab, and then I couldn't thank P1 Docs enough, one of our newer sponsors, for giving me a good baseline setup for tonight. Really appreciate all those guys, and obviously I appreciate you guys for showing how much fun our league is.
Well, thanks very much for having us again. Congratulations on the win here tonight in LMP2, Car, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks very much, Carter Cunningham there, the winner in LMP2. In GTD, it was Dominic Zioli taking the win here tonight, and welcome in, Dominic. Congratulations on that. I mean, that was a phenomenal drive from yourself to beat Ross Booth in a fair and square fight by 2 seconds. That's something that nobody's been able to achieve so far this season, and you've not been able to achieve a top 5 yet this season either. So how unexpected or not was this result for yourself?
I was pretty confident coming into this race, just seeing where my pace was at in the free practice sessions that we came up to this one. My last 2 races were pretty unlucky. I ended both of them in contact with other cars. So this is the first race where I've really been able to have a clean race from start to finish, and it worked out well.
Would you say then that this race is sort of more of an indication of how the rest of the season, or some of the races at least in the rest of the season, might go, as opposed to the other 2 before this one?
I sure hope so. I don't exactly enjoy crashing out, so it's always nice to finish the race, and when I can beat my friend Ross, that's a plus as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And pretty comfortably as well, I've got to say, by a couple of seconds in the end, considering all things. So congratulations on that. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I don't know. I guess I'm technically I'm technically a privateer in this series. So
you can't even thank any teammates. Yeah.
No, I'm all by myself.
Your mum and dad. Your mum and dad.
Yes, shout out to them.
Yeah, there you go. Any wives, girlfriends?
Unfortunately not, but...
All right, mum and dad will do then. Mum and dad.
Yep. You can take all the credit as well. There you go. Congratulations, Dominic, on the win, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dominic Zioli there, the winner tonight in GTD. Just giving him ideas. Anyway, let's chat to Austin Dilts finally before we sign off tonight with the GTD AM win. Congratulations, Austin, on that victory. At times, a close battle, especially early on. There was a pretty big incident that you were able to slip through nicely on the inside and take the lead from, and not look back from there. Just how was the race for yourself?
Oh, it was good. It's good, like you guys have been saying. It's just staying out of trouble, just trying to keep it on track. And I was fortunate that Josh and Ed ran into some unfortunate incidents. I don't think I had the pace for them straight up, but with them running into those, I was able to bring it home, and good feeling because it was a crazy little race out there.
Yeah, certainly, and you've got to take advantage of it as well. Just how was the Mustang round here? Because and I know you weren't involved necessarily in some of the battles so much, especially late on, but how was the Mustang in terms of it going up against others? It felt to me as if it was really able to use the straight line speed for the very short section of straight there is round here, and then just sort of hang on through the corners. What was the car feeling like though for yourself?
You hit it spot on. The straights felt great, like it always does with the Mustang, but especially around Mid Ohio, the corners were kind of. I personally was white knuckling it, trying to just keep it on track. The rear got loose probably 15 minutes into the race, and I knew that it was just going to be I was just going to try to limp it home basically, because I was just trying to keep it on track.
Well, congratulations on holding it on track and indeed winning the race. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before I let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to you guys. You put on a great broadcast. To my WBM teammates, Parker, Fozzie, and Mo. I love coming out here on Mondays and racing with them. So thanks to them, and big shout out to my wife.
Well, congratulations on your first win of the season, Austin, and thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Austin Dilts, the winner in GTD AM tonight as well. Well, that's just about going to do it for us here from the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. Second ever appearance here at Mid Ohio. We've got a first-time race winner as well overall. Nathan Dowd taking his first ever win in his second season. What would that make it now? Whatever 14 plus 6 is. 20 appearances?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. 19, 20 appearances, something like that.
It's 10 to 4 in the morning, Mr. O'Leary. Maths gets hard after midnight. I get it.
The reason I'm umming and ahhing about it is because I think he missed 1 or 2 races last season, so it's not quite. I'm simplifying it a bit too much. Anyways, he's approaching that number anyway, but he's finally got a race win overall, and he deserved that. I mean, some of those class winners, I've got to say, races were a little bit quiet, and just think, well, I got in the lead, then I survived, and that's all great. Some of them, involved in good battles. Austin Dilts had to slip through from a fairly big incident early on in the race, but all in all, it was about survival, as we suspected, and then those 4 drivers won on a basis of that.
Yep, it just kind of gave its vibe that if you manage the traffic, you manage your tyres, and you can manage the track, you would be okay. And we said it, and it panned out that way. Everybody that won didn't have or may have had some minor, because I think Nathan Dowd was off the side of the circuit, wasn't he, on the outside of a GT3 incident. But other than that, they had nothing. And the people that lost, the likes of Wolf and Perez and Wasilewski, and they'd all had bigger incidents. So, yeah, keep it on the racetrack. That's what we said. That's what happened. And that's why they took the wins in their classes.
Absolutely, and none of the championship leaders in any of the classes taking wins on that occasion. Joshua Wolf's lead will be down very small now. Ross Booth will still extend his lead because I don't think Nicholas Davis was here, was he? So, indeed, he will... he was here, but he was finished behind him. So that will be another gain for Ross Booth, even though he has failed to win for the first time this season. Carter Cunningham will take the lead away from Robert Cast in terms of overall points, although this is all before drop rounds have been applied. And Adolfo Perez will be right down below 5 points behind Pat Pelchat, with Nathan Dowd below 10 behind him as well. It's going to get a lot closer in terms of total points. So make sure you come back in a couple of weeks' time to find out where we actually are when we've done the maths properly and all the stewards' inquiries and everything in between has gone on as well. We'll be live again from Mugello in 2 weeks' time for the next round of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. That'll be round 7 and the last round before our Christmas break. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the JP YouTube channel. There's plenty more racing coming between now and then. From myself, though, Ewan O'Leary and James Parfitt, it's goodbye from Mid-Ohio, and we'll catch up with you again in a couple of weeks' time.